What's up, crypto allies? How are you today? I hope you're doing fine. It is April 24th, and we are at a very pivotal moment, I believe, where we decide whether the bull run is still on for its next leg or potentially not. That's the interesting thing in crypto, you never know. Okay, so what did AI do here? Join the 11% masterclass, it says. Full of spelling mistakes, but that doesn't matter to me because this was generated in just about 2 minutes. Let me play it again. Okay, so you see, I try to visualize we have this moment where we could either have a bull run or not, a continuation, and then I talk about the 11% masterclass. That is, of course, free for you just for being here. And the way you get access to it, as you probably know by now, is just to go to crypto.lifestyle. And there is no waitlist right now. I just have to change the copy. You just enter your information and you get the free masterclass. How are we doing? Don't forget to say hello. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe and share. As you know, I believe that crypto is a lifestyle that is worth adopting to various degrees according to what's going on in your personal life. But one thing is for sure, and that is something that I just cannot stop talking about it enough, is that Bitcoin is your opportunity to create life-changing wealth within this next 5 to 10 years. Whether it goes up or down right now or not, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you get into your mind that accumulating this extremely valuable asset gives you a shot at making life-changing financial differences in your life. Back in 2016, I started the journey on Bitcoin and I have not regretted it. As you may know, I am also an entrepreneur. I have built my first 7-figure business with entrepreneurship, and now I just focus on crypto. I just am so much in love with it. But what I come to find out is that is not easy. Is not easy. There are two main modalities of how you can make money in crypto. The first one is by trading crypto, buying low, selling high. And that is something that I am doing, but I'm fine tuning my skills. As you may know, I saw this post this morning, I believe. Alex Hormozy said, the reason you are not the best at what you're doing is because you're not willing to fail long enough at it to become truly a master. And that is very, very true in trading. You have to fail so much. You really have to pay rent often. When you trade, there is such a thing as stop loss, which is essentially declaring in your mind and also in your trade, this is the maximum amount of money I'm willing to lose today. And if I lose it, it has just shown that my thesis was wrong. And I paid rent today for my trading business. Because this is something that I have noticed is that when we operate our businesses or when we go to our jobs, we don't expect every day to be profitable. We understand that there is cost, there is time for things to develop, and then at precise moments throughout the month or throughout the year, we get our payout. And for whatever reason, in trading, we have this idea that the payout needs to happen every day, which is never going to happen. So trading is one modality of making money in crypto. The other one, and I long-term investing, I kind of count that too in the trading category. We'll look at that today. The other one is in decentralized finance, becoming a bank, preparing the market for those people who do trade. And that is an approach that I like a lot because it is slower paced, it is more forgiving for short-term mistakes, and you can have a daily income from it. And that is what I teach specifically in this 11% free masterclass. Just go here, crypto.lifestyle, sign up for it. So yeah, let's get into a little bit of theoretical knowledge for you, because I got a very interesting question from one of our members. At Crypto Alliance, we have a Telegram group, and all of the people inside of that Telegram group are, of course, our members. And the huge benefit from being in there is that you can ask questions. And you can never ask enough questions in this world of trading. And even I ask my questions every single day. I talk a lot to AI, but I also talk a lot to mentors and resources that I have. And the questions she asked was, hey, I just don't know how to go about not constantly being on the wrong side of the trade. It looks like there's some kind of dark magic that always makes me open a long and then price goes down, and then also inversely open a short and price goes up. And that has primarily to do with two things. Number one is you need a lot of experience to really time these entries right, which is I highly recommend you use the approach where you trade with other people's money first, also known as prop trading, or you can paper trade. The platforms that we use for trading have a demo mode, if you will, and you can just trade with paper money. And once you get good at that, then you start using your own money. So that's number one. The second aspect would be emotions. Two big emotions that cause us to lose money, and nobody is 100% shielded from it. Emotions, number one, fear. Number two, greed. We all feel that way, does Andreas say, and that's absolutely correct. And what I want to say is that managing your fear and managing your greed is something that you never fully master. It depends on how well your mental state is on any given day. And you have to reset yourself every single day. You have to work for that healthy mental state every single day. It's not something that you just achieve and then you have it. This is very, very important. And by the way, Andrea, who is part of Crypto Alliance, she is a master at teaching these techniques. And what we will roll out for our members and for future members is that she will actually guide and teach you how to maintain that mental wellness, which is oh so important in this technical trading world and investing world. Before I go to some sketches, I will tell you there is also one big indicator that something is wrong, and that is when you can't sleep very well, you're nervous about your trade, which amplifies your fear and greed. And do you know what that means? It means that you're playing it too big. You have too much at stake. And when you trade, you can actually always, before you enter the trade, you need to have a plan. and you need to have your stop loss set, which means you know 100% today, if my trade goes wrong, I only lose X amount of dollars, whatever that is for you. Most trading strategies suggest that you should never jeopardize more than 0.5% or maybe 1% of your entire trading portfolio in one single trade. And if you lose that 0.5% on a given day, you stop trading. Why? Because your mental state is rattled. You lost something, and that makes you do something that we call revenge trading, where you basically want to make up for the loss. And that is a formula that just leads to losing money. And here's the interesting thing is that most traders, 80% of the traders lose money. Only 20% make money, which means that if you go into this field, you already have a huge unfair advantage, disadvantage, I should say, because you are trying to manually trade with your emotions. Do you know what is super up and coming right now? I don't have to probably tell you. You probably already know AI. And did you know that you can use ChatGPT and all the other AI models to create trading strategies for you? And then you can programmatically use trading servers to trade on your behalf according to those strategies, ice cold. They won't have any fear, they won't have any greed. And humans have this interesting trait where they believe that they're the best. They're the best, the best thin sliced bread, as they say here. And which I always think, why is sliced bread such a interesting thing? It's just a sliced piece of bread. But anyway, uh, so the adoption of AI trading will be slow, probably for most retail traders. And the smart ones will embrace the AI trading because they understand this has to be better than me. So here's just the thing is the technical barrier to setting up the AI trading. And that is something I'm working on right now. I haven't fully pierced through yet. It requires a little bit of assembling the right tools and, of course, coming up with the algorithm and then deploying this whole system. But it is something that I'm working on. And as soon as I master it, I will release that to our members, of course. How do you become a member, by the way, of Crypto Alliance? Well, it all starts really with taking the free masterclass. The free masterclass where I show you, by the way, first how I make money passively in decentralized finance. Why? It's because I think that is the best way to start. Best way to start is not jump into trading. The best way to start is jump into decentralized finance. That's what I believe. And here I can actually show you here real quick. This is my liquidity positioning here right now, provisioning. And as you can see, daily rewards currently at 33. Okay, but that fluctuates a little bit. It's usually, there you go. So this is more correct. Currently $118 daily here with this strategy. Okay, so I promised you that would talk a little bit about the what can you do to not constantly be trapped in those longs where you lose money and those shorts where you lose money. And I'm really oversimplifying this a little bit right now because it just has to be like that, right? But here is essentially, as you know, what the markets usually do is they either go up, okay, which we call a bull market, and then they chop sideways, which we call the accumulation phase, and then they also go down sometimes, which is, so here's the bull and this is the bear. And we cannot avoid any of those phases. It's unavoidable. They are part of how markets work. What is, however, the case is that while those phases go up, sideways, and downwards, we have this going on. Of course, this doesn't go in a straight line. That would be too easy, right? What's happening is that this is always zigzags, okay? Zigzags here, that's called chop, and then same here. There we go. So essentially, what we're looking for in a bull is these higher highs and higher lows. Do you see how that's higher high and higher lows? But what this also is an ascending parallel channel. Okay. Now, when we have sideways movement, we have a parallel channel as well. And we don't necessarily have these higher highs and higher lows, but we just, we have them if we really zoom in into these movements on the 1 minute or 5 minute time frame. We still have these zigzags. But essentially, what we're trying to do is always catch the top and the bottom of this range. That's what you can do in a sideways market. And then in the bear phase, you have lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Okay. So, of course, the name of the game, as you may imagine, is to always buy when it's low and sell when it's high. Or in a bear market, if you know what shorting is, you sell short at the high and you buy again. You close your short essentially at the low. So, by the way, in case you are wondering, well, Shankar just said that most people lose money here because it is really, really not easy. You need to fail often to get these things right. I can tell you that one thing you know for sure, if you know the direction of the market, you kind of know, okay, we're bullish, we're sideways, we're bearish. While all of this is going on here, this zigzagging, fees are being generated, fees, and you can collect those fees. They can go to you into your piggy bank. Can I draw a piggy bank? Oh, that's my piggy bank. How do you do that with liquidity provisioning? So it's really an easier way, rather than trying to be right or wrong in this up and down. You can be a liquidity provider. You are the bank. How do you do that? Well, I have a free masterclass. You go to crypto.lifestyle right now, put that in your browser, and then you get access to it. Okay. So going back to what's happening when you lose money in a bull market. Okay, so what I told you is what's going on is that price moves up and then it goes down and then it moves up. So we have our higher high here, okay, and this is our lower lows. So the reason why people lose money is because in a bull market, because they're greedy, right? So they see this price moving up and then they buy here, not understanding that there's always this correction. And instead of buying here, what they should really do is buy here. But it goes against human emotions in a way to buy when something's going down. But this is really the first thing you need to learn, whether you are trading on a low, medium, or high time frame. you need to learn that when you count on price going up in a bull market, you need to always enter here when you get a discount. So the question that you might have now is, well, how do I know what this level is? And that is, again, lots of experience, but there is a little bit of help that can help guide you, and that is the Fibonacci levels. It's called a Fibonacci retracement tool, okay? And theory says that when you are in an up movement and you find that top, then you can take this Fibonacci tool and you basically start it at the bottom and you pull it to the top, and then it will show you somewhere here 2 levels. And those 2 levels are the 382 and 618, I believe. So, and somewhere here, depending on how strong your upward movement is, you will bounce off of the 618, or sometimes also it goes into the mid range. So that's the 0.5, right? So rather than just like making your decision, you go all in here as soon as the 618 is hit. What you can do is you deploy 20% here, and then you see, do we go further down? Yes, 50% here, and then the rest of the 30% on the way back up. So you don't release, you ladder into the trade. And then your average entry is somewhere in like in the middle between these entries, of course. Now, and then you so you bought here, and then you get your up move and you sell here. Now, this is where fear was your problem, right? Here, the reason you didn't do this is because of fear. Now, the next problem is here. People don't sell because of greed. Because they think, oh, that's nice. Now I'm here. Why don't I wait even a little bit longer? Because we may get here. And then what happens is this, right? A high or low, but because emotions come into play, people like sell, of course, as it goes down. So this is essentially what we need to learn to control our emotions over time. And it can only come. Good afternoon, David. Thanks for joining us. It can only come with a lot of experience and training. And where do you get your experience? You get it in trading with other people's money. Okay, other people's money is the first option, and the second option is paper trading. Paper trading, which is you can do on the trading platforms or in TradingView, which is the tool that I always use to show you these graphs. Okay, so how do you okay, so let's get to the chart. So I'm looking at the daily chart of Bitcoin, and as you know, what I told you kind of yesterday is I have 2 scenarios going for us. I think on the one hand, what could happen is we bounce off of this high, or reject. I always say bounce, but bounce is really when we come from something that is low, right? So we reject of this high, and we find support again in this region here. So you're going to ask, well, why in this region here? And that's where it's important, because this is the same question that we just looked at, right? If we look at this, so we have this situation now. We're going up, and what I'm telling you now is don't buy here, but wait and buy here, and then write it up. And of course, I'm bullish. I have a bullish thesis. So that's exactly this situation. Can you see that? The layperson says, oh, that's cool. Bitcoin is going up. Let me buy here. No. Yes, if you are a long-term investor, you know buying Bitcoin is like, it goes up anyways, right? But if you try to trade this thing, see, this is why I put here trader entry is around here. So then the question becomes, well, how far down could it go? And I don't have a crystal ball. I just have the things I learn, okay? And the things I learn say that when you are in a bullish up movement, I'm going to switch to a 4-hour time frame because we have more detail. In this bullish up movement, you take this tool here, the Fibonacci retracement tool, and you place it at the bottom of the move, and you draw it to the top, pull it up to the top. And then I don't know if you can see it, but here, that's the 382, and here's the 618, and here's the midway, 0.5. So theory now says that it's very likely that it will at some point revisit this area, and then this is where you would place your buy. What is this line, by the way, here? You see this blue line? That is called the VWAP. That is a second indicator. Is another indicator. So you always have to have a confluence of indicators. And there are so many out there, okay? The Fibonacci would be my number one indicator, the Fib. Then the second indicator I would look at is this VWAP. Here it is. Here's the tool, VWAP, anchored VWAP, VWAP. So that would be the second thing I look at. And then a third thing would be the RSI, Relative Strength Index, RSI. And the fourth thing could be the volume. How many people are trading right now? So here is the RSI indicator. So actually, no, this is an aggregate one. Let me show you the RSI. So you come to indicators, and then you look for relative strength index. There we go. You add that. So the theory goes that when this is 75, when it's above 75, you don't buy in at when it's high. The RSI needs to be low, under 40-ish. So if price drops into these levels, RSI will also most likely be somewhere here, and then that's like another indicator. So lots of theory here today, but that's just how this is. It's not easy. That's why I'm saying it takes really a long time to become good at this trading, and you have to look at all these indicators. So, by the way, one other thing that I want to say, you're saying, well, Shankar, that's all nice, but didn't you say you think price goes down to here? But what I'm actually seeing is this. I'm seeing, well, price started going down, but now is going up again. Yeah, this is unfortunately in trading, very rarely do you have straight lines, right? usually the path to where you want to go looks like, as I told you earlier, it's zigzag. And it's in those zigzags where inexperienced traders constantly lose money. And that's why, until you are an experienced trader with paper trading or trading with other people's money, I think it's a much smarter approach to say, well, I kind of know that there's going to be activity in this area, and I'm just going to provide liquidity, and then I know there's fees generated, and I collect those fees. This you learn in my masterclass, free masterclass. Go to crypto.lifestyle and sign up for it. This, by the way, is part of DeFi, Decentralized Finance, and a lot of the crypto people, they have no idea about DeFi. I am somewhat an interesting personality because I started out in DeFi and then discovered trading. But yeah, so this is very powerful, very, very powerful. I maintain, I listened to a very smart trader, day trader today, and he made the case for this. He said, what's likely going to happen is, I think we will touch this previous high again, and then we get this correction. Could be, could be. The thing is about being patient, right? And not making any quick decisions, because this confluence of these conditions here will not be met, is not even met here right now, right? Which is why you wait until that. And in all possibility, it may not happen like this. And then, okay, you wait for the next opportunity. One of the most important things in trading is being patient. And that is something that also requires wisdom and all of that experience, that you know your setup, but we have this itch to trade, and we say, okay, I missed the perfect entry, I'm like 2 hours late, but let me still do it. And of course what happens is you lose money. So that's that. There's something else I wanted to show. Oh yeah, so I'm still overall bullish. I do think this correction will come at its own pace, of course, but I do think we will get it, and then I think we will see all-time highs this year, 115 or 130,000. I think that's going to happen. Here's one reason why I think that's going to happen, is because this is the daily exchange volume chart. You know that we look at it together often, and it's been descending. Let me use the red here. It's been a descending trend, but there's also a long time support here, and is going up here lately, and I hope it's going to break out, which would be, we have a final like rally of the bull run this year, which would be really cool. So that's kind of a bullish case. The other bullish indicator is I told you the importance of looking at the USDT dominance, right? So here you can see this USDT dominance, by the way, is the fact that Lord, there we go. What is USDT dominance again? It is how much money is in stable coins versus the volatile assets. When people are unsure, they save themselves into stable coins. When people are willing to bet on price movements, they go out of the stable coins. Now, for the longest time, you see we had this upwards channel, but we broke it to the downside recently. And that is good. That is good for us traders and for us investors, right? Because the volatile asset, i.e. Bitcoin, can only grow if the USDT dominance reduces. So this was good for us. And now, of course, this is a support level where we expect this bounce. And when this goes up, what happens to Bitcoin? It goes down. So the bounce, but then hopefully back to these levels. And that this would be like the pump we're looking for to catch. So is in an inverse situation to everything else. So that's kind of looking bullish too. One thing I learned this morning that I'll show you, and then we'll wrap up. Put your questions in the chat if you have any. Let me see if I have any questions here on the live stream on LinkedIn. No, that's fine. Put your questions and comments in the chat. Oh yeah. So this is really interesting. So when we look at Bitcoin and we look at the daily, and we go back far enough. So what we recognize is in previous cycles there are similar movements that happen. So if you actually, let me make sure we space this out a little bit more, like so. This should work. So when we look at 21 here, and we're kind of looking at this segment here, or this segment here, because that's very similar to this, and it's kind of hard to see now, but I'll show you what I mean. So, and I discovered this today, and it's really interesting. So what I hope we are in is in this situation here, where we got that push, we make a correction, and then we get a final move up. I want this to be the case. This was the previous cycle, right? So how can we see whether that matches? Well, I can come here to, it's called, hopefully I can find it now. Bear with me. I think I had it this morning. It's kind of an interesting tool. Oh, bar patterns. It's called bar patterns. Let me actually add that to my favorites here. Bar patterns. And then you can go to a previous move and you can kind of grab this pattern and then look, you can come to your current situation and you can see, does that somehow fit on top of it? Okay. And then you got to work a little bit, but then you see, ooh, it's kind of similar, right? You got to make it work a little bit, but, and this is actually a way where you can look at the past and try to predict the future. Okay, where you look at previous segments, previous cycles, like you say, oh, it kind of looks similar to this, and then you overlay it like that, and history often repeats itself in trading. Okay, so there's kind of a lot going on here. I apologize for that, but yeah, so. Hopefully this is the case, right? So that we are in this, we will see this correction soon that I've been talking about. and then we get this move, which would be here, okay, correction, and then this move. That's what we're looking for. Beautiful. All right. Well, let me see. Anything else that I want to share with you here today? You know that the free masterclass is available. There's also going to be a boot camp on May 6th and 7th where I'll take you through everything that I know. And make no mistake, there are lots of people online who talk about this stuff, but they don't live it. I live it. I really have reduced 80% of my income is from crypto. And that is something that I'm very proud of, walking the talk. Okay. Not just theory, but walking the talk. That includes extreme gains, great wins, but also setbacks, lots of setbacks as well. So you always want to learn from someone who's actually walking their own talk. Okay, one last look at the LinkedIn chart. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow on this channel. For now, bye-bye.